Well, hello everybody. Welcome to another episode of Historical Markers. You know, we've been doing these for quite a while. We've gone to county after county after county, both in Illinois and some in Kentucky. And as we've gone back and looked at the records from the county we've been to, we've noticed that new markers have been added since we were there. So in this episode, we just want to cover some of those new markers that were added in places that we've previously been. So stay with us, stay tuned, and join us on this journey to find out what new history is out there that is being marked for us to find. Well, again, new history. I guess that's an oxymoron, isn't it? But let's go see what we can find in these counties and what's been added and what's going on. Stay tuned. We are in Super City, Metropolis, Illinois today, in Massac County, and we are at the home of Superman. What we're looking for are a couple of new signs that have been put up since we were here last. All right, this one has been added. This says superheroes, Joel Shuster and Jerry Siegel, who created the iconic character Superman in 1938. Robert Bob Westerfield, a Metropolis businessman who made the observation that his hometown and Superman's hometown shared the same name of Metropolis. In discovering that Metropolis, Illinois was the only town of that name, Bob was the spark that started the relationship between the Massac County Chamber of Commerce and DC Comics. O.D. Troutman had a vision of a larger-than-life Man of Steel and chaired the original Superman statue committee. Troutman and committee members Mary Castleman Horman, Jenny Walters, and Don Salisbury raised over $100,000 to have the 15-foot bronze statue designed, sculpted, and cast. The statue would travel from Utah to Metropolis, where it was placed upon a shield-shaped base and unveiled in June of 1993. Jim Hambrick, a lifetime collector of Superman memorabilia. In 1993, Hambrick moved from California to Metropolis and brought his immense collection with him. He would open the award-winning Super Museum, where visitors could see toys, movie props, costumes, and rare collectibles from film, TV, and comics. Hambrick would continue to promote Metropolis and the Superman connection through TV interviews and magazine articles. Right, and here is the other sign that has been added since we were here last. Superman statue facts. The Superman statue is the largest Superman statue in the world and is 15 foot tall and weighs 6,000 pounds. The Superman statue was ordered on November 17, 1992, in the same month Superman died in the comics. Superman, the Man of Steel, number 17. Baron Walton of Highland, Utah, was the project manager and known for being the creators of the large Emmy statues that stand outside the entrance to the Academy of Television Arts and Sciences building. Artist Gary Ernest Smith sculpted the 15-foot Superman image in clay. Metal Letters Inc. in Nehi, Utah was the foundry that cast the bronze statue. The initials of the 30 employees of Metal Letters Inc. are under the left boot. Baron Walton held an open house in their facility in Highland, Utah, so locals could see the statue before its 4-day trip to Metropolis. There was a small spot left unpainted on the left boot known as the Lucky Spot, where visitors could rub the spot for good luck. The base of the statue is shield-shaped and can best be seen from the air. A huge storm blew through Metropolis on the day of the unveiling, and most of Metropolis was without power. The statue was unveiled on June 5, 1993. A parachute was used to cover the statue for the unveiling. The bronze statue replaced the original statue that was only 8 feet tall, weighed 200 pounds, with the cost of $1,000. All right, this marker, again, we are in Metropolis, Illinois, Massac County, is Annie Turnbo Malone, 1869 to 1957. Annie Turnbo Malone the daughter of a Kentucky refugee slave and the 10th of 11 children, was born on a farm in Massac County and attended school in Metropolis. Annie Turnbo Malone is acknowledged as the true founder of African American cosmetology and the first female African American millionaire. Wow. After moving to St. Louis in the early 1900s, Malone developed and sold hair products for African American women. By the time of the Great Depression, she was a multimillionaire and philanthropist. Because Malone was committed to community development, she established Poro College in St. Louis, which offered cosmetology training and created 75,000 jobs for its graduates, giving them self-respect and economic independence during the Depression era. To this day, Annie Turnbo Malone is remembered in St. Louis through the community work of the Annie Malone Children and Family Service Center, a historical society established in her honor, and a parade each May. Malone is depicted in the 2019 documentary No Lie, An American Beauty Story, which tells the story of the rise and decline of the ethnic beauty industry. While Annie Turnbo Malone left Metropolis to achieve great things, her older sibling, John Turnbo, stayed in Metropolis and became a turn of the 20th century entrepreneur. In 1898, he became the first African American alderman elected in the city of Metropolis. Wow. I like that. All right, and the other marker here is Oscar Micheaux. They like to throw these names at me. 1884 to 1951. Oscar Micheaux was an author, film director, and independent producer of more than 40 motion pictures between 1919 and 1948. As America's first major African-American filmmaker, Micheaux is considered by many as the forerunner of Tyler Perry and Spike Lee. Oscar Micheaux's films portrayed racial injustice suffered by African Americans during his era. In addition to groundbreaking artistic work, Micheaux was a pioneer homesteader who, under the government's 1904 Homestead Act, acquired free land in South Dakota and settled there. The son of a Kentucky slave, Micheaux was born on a farm in Metropolis, where he spent his first 17 years and received his formal education while attending St. Paul African Methodist Episcopalian AME Church. In addition to annual film festivals that screen Micheaux's films nationwide, he is remembered with a star on Hollywood's Walk of Fame, a U.S. postage stamp, and a special exhibition wing in the Academy of Motion Arts. North Carolina's Duke University has an art society named for Oscar Micheaux as well. He was the subject of the 2014 TV documentary Black Czar of Hollywood. In 2021, Oscar Micheaux, the superhero of black filmmaking, a biographical movie about Oscar Micheaux, featured actor Morgan Freeman, rap icon Chuck D, and Turner Classic Movie hostess Jacqueline Stewart, aired on HBO Max and the Turner Classic Movie channel. Micheaux died in 1951 and is buried in Great Bend Cemetery, Great Bend, Kansas.
Here says, twice daily the Cowling blew its haunting whistle, docked at the foot of Ferry Street, and brought people, produce, and excitement from Paducah. For 25 cents a ride, families were united, lovers came to marry without a blood test, and minstrel shows arrived to the delight of all. Women especially appreciated the wharf boat which carried them and their loved ones safely to and from shore, protecting their long skirts, wool coats from the elements. The river often froze solid, and the ice gorge of 1918 destroyed many valuable boats between Paducah and Metropolis. The Cowling was spared thanks to the valiant efforts of the townspeople who personally anchored the boat to shore during the 8 hours it took for the floating ice gorge to pass the area. Those who came were often treated to a magnificent sunset behind the six-span CB&Q railroad bridge, built in 1917 after a 6-year construction period and loss of several lives. The $5 million engineering feat became famous for having the longest single span, 708 feet on record at the time. For years, the Cowling bell, not just any old bell, rang out the word for volunteers to respond as a tribute to those courageous firemen whose families worried at home as men put out put their lives on the line for others. The steamboat era lives on in our memories for its faithful service and its promise of a ticket to anywhere for both the rich and the poor. The artist is Chris Kilman, and
That's
here's
a friend
the
of
picture.
Mine, Chris Kilman. I worked with him for many, many years, and he is a wonderful artist. He's done murals in our hometown of Marion and other places in southern Illinois. All right, we are at Kincaid Mounds, Illinois State Historic Site. This is just a sign at right by the road that you turn down, but I wanted you to see that you could see the mounds up there. I don't know, I might have to get up in the truck so you can see them better. But there they are. That's where we're going to. There. I think that's better. All right. Well, hi guys. We are in Massac County, Illinois, off of the Ohio River Scenic Byway. And I have lived in southern Illinois my entire life, and I thought we had covered this whole area with doing our signs in the past, and I have come to find out that this has been here and I knew nothing about it. We are at the Kincaid Mounds Archaeological Site. You can see the mounds back there, the Indian mounds, or I should say native or indigenous. I don't want to offend. They're fascinating. Now, I knew about Cahokia Mounds up close to St. Louis, but this is not one I knew about. The Kincaid Mounds, it says it's the center of an ancient chiefdom. Between 1,000 and 700 years ago, the first people to practice large-scale agriculture in southern Illinois established Kincaid Mounds as the seat of their chiefdom. These Native Americans were of the Mississippian culture and occupied Kincaid from approximately 1050 to 1450 AD. They were ruled by a chief who inherited his position and probably claimed power from the sun. Corn or maize farmers in the bottomlands along the Ohio River supplied the leaders with grain and constructed the mounds we see today. They also constructed the protective wall or palisade that encircled the principal mounds, but which we now know only from the archaeological record. The mounds are raised platforms on which the chief and other leaders of the society lived or ruled from, and upon which thatch-roofed ceremonial buildings, temples, and homes were constructed. The mounds were built in stages over a 400-year period by stacking basket loads of selected soil one on top of another. Visitors to the site will see flat-topped 30-foot-tall mounds arcing around the level plaza area. This plaza was probably the most important public place in the chiefdom. It was used both for social and political activities. Here, the important chunky game was played, and major ceremonies were held, including purification rituals and celebration of the new corn crop. And here is an artist's rendering, Herb Rowe, his rendering of what things would have looked like with these mounds. And again, there they are, right out there. Now over here, it talks about the archaeology of the site. University of Chicago archaeologists excavated at Kincaid from 1934 through 1944. Their work set a new standard for archaeological excavation in the United States. And the methods used here are the basis for much of today's archaeological practice in America. Archaeologists at Southern Illinois University at Carbondale began a new cycle of research at Kincaid in 2003 using modern methods including non-destructive geophysical survey, targeted small-scale excavations, and more refined data recovery and analytical techniques. The work has expanded our knowledge of the site, giving us a much better, though still incomplete, understanding of how the site grew and then shrank over time, which mounds were built when, and how extensive the residential zones were. So you can see some photographs from the first archaeologists in 1934 to 44, and then over here to the SIU archaeologists in 2003. And it's not over, guys. There's one more sign over here for us we're going to look at. And here it says, the Kincaid site extends for about a mile along the bank of Avery Lake. The Massac County portion in front of and to the left of you is owned and managed by the Illinois Department of Natural Resources. The Pope County portion through the trees to the right, over here, is privately owned. The map shows the known mounds, the main plaza, and the protective palisade wall. The Kincaid Mounds State Historic Site has been designated as a National Heritage Landmark and is on the National Register of Historic Places. There's some of the things that they've recovered, and it shows you the Massac and Pope areas. We're right here right now. It's my finger. Here would be the plaza and the mounds over here, but there's continuing over here would be living and farming areas. So they've found several different types of archaeology. Okay, I can't talk right now. They found lots of really cool things that goes back to the area here, and that they can use to date when they were made and when people were living here. It's beautiful out here. We didn't know when we were driving exactly what we were going to find, but it is so peaceful and beautiful. And they have built such a nice area. There's benches. Here's the sign where they say it's on the National Register of Historic Places. And they've just built a really nice area, and it's monitored by video so that people don't come out here and be stupid, you know. We got to take care of these sites like this. I can't believe this is, you know, less than an hour from my house, and I didn't even know about it. It tells you I need to read more, don't I? All right, well, we're gonna move on and see what else is out there. But thank you for coming with us to the Kincaid Mounds. Well, guys, you have seen us go back to counties that we have been to, and we have caught up with new markers and markers we may have missed along the way. We've been in various counties, so you may find more than one county in an episode. It's just us doing some backtracking and catching up and learning some more new stuff. I can't believe there's more stuff out there to learn. I don't know it all yet. So stay with us as we continue to not only go to new areas and find markers, but we get historical markers from areas we've already been to, and they keep adding them. And I absolutely, if you know of a place in your county that needs to be on our list, let us know, and we will do that. So we'll catch up with you later in another episode.